What is a Senegal parrot like? Hey guys, I'm Kaylin, the author of the Parrot Bliss Bomb. Please be sure to get your copy on Amazon.com today. And it's back from the editor, so I'm gonna, pull the trigger real soon. My Get to Know African Greys and Cape Parrot book will be available any day. Hopefully by the time you're seeing this, it should be like uploading and in the works and just almost ready for you to be able to get. It'll be available on ebook or as a soft cover. All right, so I have over 20 species of parrots. I love parrots. I have parrotlets in here, but there's quite a few. And when there's quite a few, they can be loud. I have Macy, my female Cape parrot, with me today. Being in the Poicephalus family, I thought she'd be a good representation as we talk about Senegals, which I understand to be very similar to Myers and the other Poicephalus parrots. If you're used to hanging out, thanks for hanging out. Let's get started. Today I'm going to tell you 3 things that I think are most significant about Senegals. And as a precursor, I'm going to tell you that their diet is going to be not necessarily a nut eater. From everything I remember, they're not, like Macy gets nuts. That's a part of her diet. You could tell by this big honking beak that she needs nuts in her diet. But when it comes to the Senegals, they don't necessarily, you can give them some nuts as treats or for training, but it's not necessarily meant to be a part of their regular diet. So keep that in mind. Now, about Senegals. I really liked Senegals when I had Senegals, and so I'm going to have pictures of my Senegals for you. The number one most significant thing about Senegals is they can be one-person parrots. That means that Hermione, my Senny, she loved me. She would crawl all over my body when I was doing yoga, but she would fly and try to attack my husband. Senegal parrots are a little smaller than Macy is. I'm trying to make sure Macy's in nice and good for you. Macy is like 300 grams, a little under 300 grams. A Senegal, from what I remember, I think they're closer to like 150, two, probably in the 2 department or 2 neighborhood. So a little smaller for sure. And having a smaller parrot than this coming and trying to attack you, not so great. I know, sorry, it's noisy. We're getting ready. We're probably not going to get a hurricane. The hurricane that's coming is going to the west coast of Florida, but that means there's a lot of weather and it's getting windy. There's a tornado watch in my area. So my birds had to come in and I've had to be in, and it's raining, and so I'm indoors and it's loud. I'm sorry, I always try to do my videos outside so it's not too loud for you. Okay, so you should be really aware that Senegals can be one-person parrots, because that means that they bond with one person, and actually Macy has done that. You could see she loves me, she loves when I'm with her, she loves when I'm paying attention to her. Now, I don't feel like she attacks other people, which Hermione, my Senegal, did, but she's certainly not friendly. Other people can offer her food, but that's about it. They can't touch her, they can't pet her, they can't necessarily pick her up. So, you have to be prepared and know that this is going to be a pet that may only like one person, and everyone else might not get to bond with them. The Senegals, the second thing I'm going to say about Senegals is they have a great disposition. Generally speaking, the tropical parrots, which are the African parrots, which includes African Greys, the Senegals, the Cape parrots, the Myers, the Poicephalus family, if I'm saying that right, They are, like, my favorite thing is they're kind of chill. They tend to be pretty easygoing. The Jardines too. I'm not going to go, ooh, but like if I did that, she might kind of look at me, but a lot of parrots would like go squawk and fly off. They get spooked easily, and it's a natural trying to make sure that they're okay, make sure that no one, no bigger bird comes from above or any other animal. And so a lot of parrots can be a little like hyper alert. It's a survival skill. But the African parrots, those tropical parrots, they just don't seem so like skittish. So it's really nice because when things happen, there's a noise. Macy's like, what's going on? She's just really calm about it. And my Senegals were too. That's a really fantastic thing about Senegals. Now here's another challenging thing about Senegals. Senegals don't necessarily get along with each other. You cannot necessarily put them in the same cage. So if you're accustomed to watching my channel, you know that I always talk about how beneficial it is to have two of a species. And with a lot of species, that is better for their well-being. One of the reasons it's noisy in here is because I have a parrotlet aviary in here with more than 10 parrotlets. It's a really, it's a good size aviary, so there's plenty of room for them. But they get chatty, they get noisy. With Senis, you can't really do that. You'd have to really have a big cage beyond the specifications for one Senegal, because otherwise, especially if one's a male, he might hurt the female. So if you have two Senegals, generally speaking, you really want two cages. They can, and that way you can open the doors and they can come out and hang out together if they want. During mating season, they might come together, but otherwise they tend to be separate. It doesn't mean that they are troublemakers. You can have your Senegal with another parrot. Mine hung out with the other birds just fine. They did not go and instigate fights or anything like that. They didn't fight over food. I had no problems. I really liked them. I don't even want to think about the fact that I wouldn't mind having a Senegal again because as I told you, I already have more than 20 species. And so I have a full flock. But that is a parrot that I really like and that I really enjoyed, because the third thing I'm going to tell you about Senegals, and it's really more like probably the fifth, but for our counting's sake, the third thing is I feel like they're adventurous. And what I mean by that is, like I said, Hermione would, when I was doing like down dog, she'd get at the top of my back. And then when I was, standing up tall, she would like go to my shoulder. She's adventurous. She's kind of playful. She'd go around. I like them. And, she'd go and hang out with the other birds and see what they're doing. They are really fun parrots. And probably more significantly, one thing about Senegals is no parrot is noiseless that I can think of, not a one. But some species are really loud, some species aren't that bad. And Senegals, everyone categorizes them as an apartment parrot, which makes sense to me. The noise level right now, the parrotlets kind of brought it down a little. Parrotlets aren't noisy, but when you have, more than 2, 3, 4, 5, it changes. It kind of becomes a cumulative sound like that. Senegals aren't super loud. You could see, even in all this noise, and did you see that? I didn't scare Macy. She kind of moved because I brought both my hands down, and she was like, what is that? And that's what I mean. The tropical parrots, they're just, they just don't freak out easily, and it's really nice. But anyway, what I was saying is the noise level. You could see that Macy's just not being noisy. Right now, the parrotlets are they're moving around, they're doing their parrotlet thing. Smaller birds tend to be more active. Really large birds that are not inactive, but they're not nearly as boop, 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 as small birds. So Senegals, I guess I would consider them a smaller medium bird. I wouldn't call them a small bird. The medium categorization, I feel like it kind of has like a small medium and a large medium. Like an Amazon parrot, I still would consider like a medium large, but not a large parrot. So, it depends on how you classify them, how you categorize parrots. But so Senegals, for their noise level, or for their size, their noise level is pretty low. They can make a noise if you have one by itself and it's going to try to call because it's lonely, or if it bonds to you and you're gone, it might make noise. And in that case, if you're gone during the day in your apartment, your Senegal might be noisy and your neighbors could complain. But generally speaking, a happy Senegal isn't really going to be noisy. I'm going to say my parrotlets right now, I think they're noisier than the Senegals were. So if you're getting a Senegal and you're in an apartment, I would still get 2, and I would just have 2 cages, like I said. That way, at least you can open the doors during the day, and they can be around each other during the day. I never saw mine go attack each other during the day. Like that really wasn't within them, because they're just mellow. They're just really fantastic birds. But if you're gone during the day, I would have their cages close to each other so they can kind of keep each other company. There's nothing worse than anyone being by themselves all day. I don't think dogs like it. Like everyone I know always gets 2 dogs so that their dog has a friend during the day. Same with cats. And, the same really should apply to birds, especially because birds are even more social. Parrots are more social than cats and dogs. So if you're getting a Seni, like I said, I would still get another one. If you want to get a different species, be really careful, kind of research, because the Seni is in some ways more independent, although they'll create a good bond with you. Hermione was like Macy. She wanted to come. She wanted to be with me, around me. She usually wanted to be on my shoulder. She didn't always want me to pet her, but she liked to be pet. So they do want to engage with you, but they don't want to be best friends with another bird. For example, a green-cheeked conure and a Senegal, maybe there's always exceptions. Maybe they'll be good friends. But green-cheeked conures want to be like, I always describe it like this. My green-cheeked conures are often in physical proximity, touching each other. They are more like touchy-feely. They'll preen each other. They'll put a wing over the other one. Whereas Senegals are not like that. So if you get a green-cheeked conure and it tries to bond with your Senegal, that could be problematic. And they could kind of both be unhappy, or your Senegals might get mad at the green-cheek, like, stop hassling me. So if you're going to get a tropical parrot, probably the best companion is another tropical parrot. I hope that really gives you some great ideas. Senis are fantastic. I would take the leap, and I've heard fantastic things about Jardines. I would take the leap and assume that any of the Poicephalus, the Latin, I don't hear the word, so I don't know how to pronounce them. The Myers, like any of, if you have access to, or if you have the ability to get any African parrot that is those sizes, the Senegals, the Myers, and there's some others, and I don't know them off the top of my head. I would feel really comfortable going, I'm going to have a fantastic parrot. And like I said, I would get 2 just so that they're not alone. So here's to you having a blissful bond with your tropical parrot as I try to make sure that my parrotlets aren't louder than me. I will catch you in the next feathered video.